again, everyone. Welcome back to Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast, and occasionally other podcasts. I'm one of your co-hosts, Charles Skaggs, back in Ghostwood Forest, ready to talk for the very last time one of our Twin Peaks actors who have appeared on the X-Files episodes. And fortunately, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and contributor to my impending donut addiction, Xan Sprouse. How you doing, Xan?
Always happy to help. Yeah, donuts are...
You are a bad influence, Xan.
I'm a bad influence. Do you if you want to be talked out of eating donuts,
yeah,
you need to not hang out with fat girls.
Well,
because we know where the damn donuts are. I think I may have told you this story, Charles. I was telling my parents about how when my father was really sick and in the hospital for 13 days, I was stress eating really badly. And I said I found out that the little donut shop on campus, which is delicious, by the way, that's where I got donuts from when we had our Twin Peaks, the return premiere party. That's where those donuts were from.
Those are great donuts. I will give you that, yes.
Well, I found out they deliver. through either Bite Squad or Grubhub or one of those
apps. Yeah.
And I was so stressed out. I had eaten 3 donuts before I even realized I hadn't even tasted one. I was just eating for stress. And my dad just stops me. He's like, "Okay, wait a minute. What donut place delivers?"
Yeah.
That was all he took from that story. So
the reason we got on this discussion really quickly. Yes, we are going to talk about the X-Files, so just hang in there. But the reason
we're Twin Peaks podcast, so we're talking about donuts.
Exactly. So, we are Twin Peaks, like you said, so it's kind of in our nature to talk about donuts, right? So I mentioned to Xan that, well, hey, at long last, the Hilliard, Ohio area where I live is supposedly getting a Krispy Kreme, which is dangerous to my calorie count, potentially deadly to my calorie count.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly my sugar levels. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't help but think of, well, hey, I have this nice, little dining table. Now I guess I could do the whole big Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department spread.
You could totally do that.
I could totally do that now because, hey, yep. I've got a Krispy Kreme soon to be within walking distance.
And Lucy can set this out for you every morning.
Exactly. And Harry apparently can eat them all because he's always eating.
Eats them all. Yeah.
He's always eating, as we talked about.
That's what I did when we had our Twin Peaks for the return premiere party. I laid out the donuts just like Lucy did. So, in nice little stacks.
So, see, we're not just going to talk about X-Files. We're going to talk about donuts, too. Because this is what we do here on Ghostwood.
Donuts are a very Twin Peaks subject matter.
In addition to donuts, we are, like I said, going to be talking the X-Files, episode 6 of the 4th season, here at episode 86 of Ghostwood. We're going to be talking Sanguinarium, and this aired way back on November 10th, 1996, the year I almost didn't get to see. Written by...
Oh, that's right. Charles's insides tried to kill him.
Pretty much. Even my own body got sick of me.
Mm-hmm. Your insides tried to murder you. I don't know why your insides aren't in jail.
They should be, like everything else around me. So, this is written by Vivian and Valerie Mayhew, who never wrote for the X-Files ever again.
Nope.
And directed by Kim Manners, who is one of the X-Files' greatest directors.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't think that's a controversial statement in the slightest.
No, not at all.
Starring, of course, David Duchovny as Fox Mulder and Gillian Anderson as Dana Scully.
Dr. Dana Scully, thank you very much.
So this is kind of like our last go-around with the X-Files, and already I'm feeling a little depressed about this. How about you?
It is kind of sad. I mean, we could always, if we really wanted to go do a deep dive, Charles.
Yes.
We could have one last little, bonus track of Excelsius Day if you wanted to.
I was thinking about that, but
with its tiny, tiny little brief moment of Frances Bay.
Right, exactly. So who
is technically in Twin Peaks. She is in Fire Walk
with
Me.
Because hey, that's Mrs. Chalfont. So
it is.
Or Mrs. Tremont. Take your pick.
Take your pick.
Yeah.
Weird, huh?
Yeah. So that was one of the things when I was planning out the schedule. I was like, well, we could do this one, but for one, she's not in it all that much, and two, I'm not really that big of a fan of this episode, so I thought it was okay we could skip that one. I didn't think anybody would mind.
Actually, I like that one better than the one we're talking about tonight.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that kind of gives me a hint of your rating a little bit then.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I might be a little higher than you. We'll see.
You might be, yeah.
So in this one, Sanguinarium, we have in the guest cast, of course, our Twin Peaks actor in the X-Files, I guess special guest, if you will, Richard Beymer as Dr. Jack Franklin, who gets revealed as somebody else. We'll talk about that. He, of course, played Benjamin Horne on Twin Peaks and Twin Peaks The Return, Brother Ben. Yes, brother of Jerry, or husband of Sylvia, ex-husband of Sylvia, I should say.
Father of Audrey, grandfather of Richard.
Right. So
Paramour of Beverly.
Yep.
Probably Paramour of Beverly.
And somebody who had probably had sex with Laura Palmer.
Oh, yeah, for sure had sex with Laura Palmer. For sure had sex with Ronette Pulaski.
Yes.
For sure had sex with Blackie.
Right.
Probably did not have sex with Emery Battis.
Although Emery might have been open to the idea. We don't know. We don't like to judge.
If
we don't
Ben
judge.
came in there with a vacuum cleaner, you don't know what would have happened.
Or Mr. Frosty.
Oh, my God. What about Mr. Strawberry?
Still, my little snowman.
My little snowman. Wonder if Mr. Strawberry was involved in any of this at any point in time.
Could be. Could be.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
So, wonder if Benjamin Horne knew Ike the Spike. There's so many.
It wouldn't surprise me. There's so many potential connections there, right?
Seriously, there's so many. Yeah, there's so many unsavory characters that you
could totally see Ben and Jerry hiring Ike the Spike to bump somebody off.
I could also see Ike the Spike and Jerry just getting loaded drunk together.
Yeah, a little bit. So
yeah. Ike the Spike and Jerry as they would both be lost in the woods, not able to find their car. I think they would just both be stoned out of their minds together. They seem like they would be an interesting pair. Yes. Never not funny. Never gets old.
Never gets old.
It never gets old.
All right. So in addition, of course, to playing Benjamin Horne on Twin Peaks, Richard Beymer, famous, of course, for playing Tony in West Side Story.
Heck yeah.
The movie, not the Broadway. And he was also in episodes of some of my favorite shows, Moonlighting and Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Mm-hmm.
He was also on The Man from U.N.C.L.E. back in the day. And he was on episodes of Murder, She Wrote and Dallas. So I thought that was interesting.
All of those have excellent theme songs.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Particularly love Moonlighting because, hey, who doesn't like that rockin' Al Jarreau?
Al Jarreau was fabulous.
Somewhere
I'm gonna be
by
singing
night, some fly by day.
Night, we'll fly by day. Love that song.
Exactly. See, now it's in your heads, too, out there. If you're old enough, at least.
If you're old enough, yeah. And if you're not old enough, you need to check that out online and, check out the oral history of Moonlighting by our friend Scott Ryan when it comes out.
There you go. All right. We also had O-Lan Jones. Very interesting name, O-Lan.
O-Lan Jones is a very interesting person.
Yes, she is.
Probably my favorite. She was quite the stage actress and was married to Sam Shepard before he cheated on her for probably the 80th and final time with Jessica Lange. He kind of ran around on her quite a bit.
So you're saying Jessica Lange the homewrecker or Sam Shepard the homewrecker?
Sam Shepard is the homewrecker.
Okay.
Yeah, he made the decision to wreck the home. So
yeah.
I don't think that the women are homewreckers. I think the men are the homewreckers. They choose to leave.
Yeah. I'd say so.
So, but you might recognize O-Lan Jones as being Joe Don Baker's wife and Lucas Haas's mother in Mars Attacks.
Yes, that was one of the things I was going to bring up. She's also, in addition to playing Nurse Rebecca Waite, where she plays here, she was also Esmeralda in Edward Scissorhands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the greatest movies that I never want to see again.
Why? Because it makes you cry?
Because I basically am watching Vincent Price die.
Yeah, that's sad.
Because Vincent Price, this is his last movie, and they filmed this really, really depressing death scene.
Yeah.
And not only is it a depressing love story, I mean, a depressing love story that rips...
Because he plays the creator of Edward Scissorhands.
He creates Edward Scissorhands, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a horribly depressing love story that just rips your heart out of your nostrils. But you also basically have to watch Vincent Price die.
Yeah.
A very old, a very frail Vincent Price doing a death scene, which just is too much for me to handle. Especially when you have the amazing, amazing Johnny Depp just looking at him saying, "Don't go, I'm not finished yet." And then you just can't stop crying. You have to call in sick to work because you're still crying.
Damn you, Tim Burton. Yeah.
Tim Burton, oh my God. Tim Burton, man, he can pull on your heartstrings. He can make you laugh, and damn can he make you cry.
There you go. All right. O-Lan Jones also in Natural Born Killers.
Who is she in Natural Born Killers?
I didn't write that down. I'm not sure, but she's in it.
God, I only ever saw that once.
Yeah, I only saw it once too.
I wasn't a big fan, but you know...
Once is pretty much all you need, I think.
You know who I loved in that movie?
Because it's a pretty messed up movie.
It's very messed up, but do you know who I thought did a fantastic, fantastic performance?
Who?
Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I haven't watched that in a long time.
He plays Juliette Lewis's sexually abusive father.
Yeah, he's pretty much a dick in that one, yeah.
He's repugnant and disgusting, and it's so not what you would expect from Rodney Dangerfield. And he gives such a good performance that you are just so amazed by how this, like, lovable comedian is so horrible. Because I think we all know the story.
Easily goes against type, is what you're saying.
Goes against type. I think we all know the story of Rodney Dangerfield. He is a widower who took up stand-up comedy so he could support his kids and be with them during the day. Like, he's a good dude. He's a good person.
Right.
So to see him in that kind of a role was just extra shocking, I think. But yeah, it's like if you want to YouTube his scene and then not watch the rest of it, I think you're fine.
Yeah. Skip the rest of the movie. Just watch the Rodney Dangerfield. All right.
Yep.
All right. And she was also in The Truman Show.
Yeah, she was a bartender at it was like the Truman Bar, I think, where it was like your basic like Boston neighborhood bar, but they just had the Truman Show running all the time instead of sports.
Right. And she was also in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which I haven't seen, but Lori has.
I have read that, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Also in episodes of Community and Seinfeld.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
Just thought I'd mention that.
And a lot of stage work.
John Giuliani plays Dr. Harrison Lloyd. And the reason I mention him is, in addition to being the father of Alessandro Giuliani, a.k.a. Gaeta on Battlestar Galactica, the remake, he was in episodes of Millennium, Andromeda, and Dark Angel. So he's one of those rare X-Files and Millennium vets.
I completely forgot about Dark Angel being a thing.
Yeah, that was the what's her name?
Jessica
Alba, yes. Thank you. Yeah.
It's like that and like True Calling were around the same time.
Right, with Elijah Dushku, yeah.
Yeah, where it was like these female actors that are usually playing like the parts that Jessica Alba played in maybe something like Never Been Kissed. You would expect that from her, but here they are playing these badasses.
Right.
There was that era in the early 2000s.
Well, at least Elijah Dushku, she became sort of famous from playing Faith on Buffy. So
Right.
So she at least had kind of a badass background.
And Jessica Alba got sort of famous by playing Sue Storm.
This is true. And also in Sin City.
Yeah, who was she in Sin City? I don't remember who she was.
The kind of stripper with the heart of gold that falls in love with Mickey Rourke's character.
No, that was Brittany Murphy.
Goldie. No.
Brittany Murphy was Goldie, I thought. I thought that was Brittany Murphy.
No, I'm sorry. That wasn't even... I think we're both wrong on Goldie. That was...
Oh, jeez.
See, now we have to look this up.
Now we got to look it up. Here we are. We need Xan and Charles internet music.
Yes.
When we're just some sort of like
Jamie
dating
King
game. Like
played Goldie.
Who did?
Jamie King.
Jamie King. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's who I was thinking about.
All right.
So Jessica Alba must have played
somebody else.
Yeah, I forget. So.
Honestly, Charles, it's been so long since I've seen or read Sin City, but boy, is that a good movie, you guys.
She's the one that I think had kind of a crush on Bruce Willis's John Hardigan. if I'm not mistaken.
That's who. Yes.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking
Yes.
of. Okay.
Exactly.
So,
Okay.
all right. So we don't need to look her up. But anyway.
No, we don't.
All right. So also had Arlene Mazarol as Dr. Teresa Shannon, and she was in the movies Cocktail, The Recruit, and the 2013 version of Carrie, which I did not see.
None of which I've seen, but I wanted to see the 2013 version of Carrie because I like Chloe Grace Moretz.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's very good.
Yeah, she was great in Kick-Ass as Hit Girl.
Never saw Kick-Ass.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, never saw Kick-Ass, but
Worth a look.
yeah, I also never saw Cocktail because I don't see Tom Cruise movies.
Yes, we've talked about that.
We know about this. We all know this rule.
Well, I don't watch Tom Cruise movies either, except for Mission Impossible movies. That's my one out because I was a Mission Impossible fan before I was a Tom Cruise fan.
Then just watch early episodes of Law and Order.
There you go.
Stephen Hill,
Yeah.
who was Adam Schiff on Law and Order, was in Mission Impossible.
There you go.
The best thing to watch, though, that's Mission Impossible related is to watch Martin Landau tell off Kennedy for not knowing that he was in Mission Impossible. Have you ever seen that?
No, I need to look that up.
It was the Mission Impossible movie premiere.
Oh, okay.
And MTV was there, and Kennedy was there talking to people, and Martin Landau had...
You mean Kennedy on MTV?
I mean Kennedy, the VJ. Yeah, with the red hair.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he Jack Kennedy was killed in 1963.
Oh, no, not President Kennedy. No.
Yeah.
MTV's Kennedy.
I'm just clarifying that for the people who wouldn't know Kennedy from MTV.
Right, for the people who don't remember that flash in the pan that was Kennedy.
Yeah.
She was interviewing people on the red carpet, and she was interviewing Martin Landau. And Martin Landau had been back in the spotlight for winning the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Ed Wood.
Yeah.
So he was pretty famous and pretty...
Fantastic as Bela Lugosi, by the way.
Fantastic.
Amazing. Yes. So
she was talking to him and basically said, "Why are you here?" Basically was like, so what are you doing here? You were in this movie. Why are you here? And he's like, I was in the TV show, and you need to learn your history, and like walked away.
That's how it's done.
It was so great.
Yeah, that's funny. I think I've heard that before, but yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, Martin Landau in the first X-Files movie. So that brings us back to X-Files. You see what I did there?
Here we are. I see what you did there.
I navigated this right back to X-Files discussion.
Yeah,
so.
good job.
All right. So trivia, before we get into our discussion. Just got a few things this time. Sanguinarium, in case you're wondering what that means place of blood in Latin. So There you go. Because sanguine means blood, in case you're wondering. So in that eum, there you go, place.
Arium is place where things happen.
The planetarium.
The planetarium.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What is that?
South Park.
Yes, the planetarium. Oh my God. Planetarium.
Welcome to the planetarium.
Yes. I have not thought about that in 20 years. Oh my God.
You're welcome. All right. So if you're wondering about the words that were written in blood on Dr. Franklin's mirror, that Vanitas Vanitatum.
Which is Latin for let's rock.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's not really. What is it?
No, what it really means is vanity of the vanities. So essentially, like super vain is what she's calling him out as.
You are vain levels of vain.
Yeah. So, and she's doing it in Latin just to show off, presumably.
So you know what that is? Foreshadowing.
Most people would have just like broke out the Carly Simon and would have had that playing, but nope, not her.
You really think this blood on the mirror is about you, don't you?
Very nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, if you know the lyrics to that song, you would appreciate that joke. All right.
You probably do. You all have moms.
All right. So this episode was a spec script solicited from freelance writers and sisters, Vivian Mayhew and Valerie Mayhew.
Yeah, apparently the X-Files, even though it had a bunch of really good writers, they were doing like 26 episodes a season or something, and they're like, somebody help us, let's bring in some temps.
Yeah, we got to fill out that season somehow. So
yeah, so they brought in some spec writers, and in came these sisters.
Meanwhile, I would have been over here with my hand raised, going, "Yo."
I could see you like in the back, like jumping every day, like, "Hey,
yes,
hey, Mr. Carter, Mr. Carter, I'm here." So, yeah, the Twilight Zone did that one time.
Did they?
They did an open call for scripts.
Yes.
They just said, and they got hundreds and thousands of scripts that they just could not use.
That makes sense. Yes.
They said they were good. They said they got good scripts, but they were not Twilight Zone scripts. Like they were really either too gross to put on air or too sentimental to be a Twilight Zone. They would have been better as a Playhouse 90.
Right.
But so they said, okay, well, sorry, y'all, but that didn't quite work.
Yeah, we're not doing this again.
And Rod and Richard and all the other guys had to go back, and Earl Hamner had to all go back into the writer's room and keep writing their fingers bloody.
Yep. Got to get out all those 26 episodes a season.
Heck yeah.
All right. So after writing the script, they presented it to Glenn Morgan and James Wong, who suggested they change the villain from a woman to a man because, quote, plastic surgery is related to vanity, and everyone expects that from a woman, not a man, unquote.
So what you're telling me is that nobody suspects the butterfly? Is that what?
I guess, right?
I had to get a Simpsons reference in.
Yep, you did. You did a good job, by the way.
Just one.
Yep.
Did you know that only one Twin Peaks actor has ever been on The Simpsons?
No. Who was it?
Yeah, Kimmy Robertson.
Really?
Yep.
Do you know which episode?
I can't remember the name of the title, but it's the one where Milhouse gets a girlfriend. There's a new girl in school.
Okay.
And
I'll track it down.
She and Milhouse fall in love.
All right. Well, there you go. See, there's an excuse to do a Simpsons episode one of these days.
Heck yeah, it is.
It's like Kimmy Robertson. We got to talk that, right?
Yep.
Also, because of this episode, the X-Files production staff received a ton of angry letters and emails from Wiccans complaining about the episode.
Which is interesting because he's not a Wiccan, he's a Satanist.
Yeah. but
so
yeah.
But here's the thing,
they were kind of using the calendar and
in the 80s and 90s
the Witch's Sabbath and all that. Yeah.
In the 80s and 90s, people thought of pagan, Wiccan, Satanism. Mm-hmm. They all thought of as, even naturalism, they all thought of as kind of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And they're probably because, this guy's killing people, not really a good look if you're, a self-professed witch.
And that's the thing. I feel like the O-Lan Jones character, who is sort of the hero of this story, she's more like the protective witch.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Although, I'm still kind of trying to figure out why she was lying in that bathtub full of blood and weight. When she could have just been hiding around the corner.
Maybe the bathtub of blood was already there.
Maybe.
And she got in and was like, oh, damn it! I don't know.
It's cold. No. Gotta warm this up a little.
Damn it, this is type O. I need type B for my complexion.
It's type O. Gosh. Yeah.
Gosh.
Anyway. All right. So.
You being negative. What do you think?
Nice. All right. It's going to be fun. All right. So let's get into the discussion now as far as the episode goes. So set this up during a routine liposuction operation in the aesthetic surgery unit of Greenwood Memorial Hospital in Winnetka, Illinois. Salute. Dr. Harrison Lloyd suddenly begins to remove a ton of fat from a patient and keeps going until the patient dies.
Not just a ton of fat, like a ton of, it's really gross, you guys.
Yeah.
I think this episode is really one of the first episodes that we get really gory stuff being on television.
Yeah, this is
it's really gross.
Well, apparently this was like right after the Home episode, which if you're at all familiar with the X-Files episodes, Home is notorious for being probably the vilest episode of the X-Files ever.
So gross.
So much so that Fox refused to repeat it.
Did they really?
Yeah, that's the only X-Files episode they refused to repeat on air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If I remember my my X-Files history a little bit, I'm pretty sure that's it.
This is why we buy DVDs.
Exactly, because it's on the DVD, so, or now the Blu-ray. So, yeah, so points to physical media once again, triumphing over, the ability of networks to just replace stuff when they feel like it. Yeah.
Yep.
And erase it from existence.
Oh, no. Home was a couple you know, it was directly before this one.
What?
The Field Where I Died.
Oh, yeah. Home must have been, I think Home was a few episodes back.
Home was episode 2. This was
Yeah.
Sanguinarium was episode 6.
Yeah, okay. So it was, all right, not too far off, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, it's the Field Where I Died. That's enough. That's something we shouldn't be talking about.
Poor Kristen Cloak, man.
Yeah. I know, right?
She's so much better than that episode.
Yeah. Shame on you, David Duchovny. But so essentially, this is our teaser. This is our cold open. Of course, brings Mulder and Scully to the yard because, hey, Dr. Lloyd, after the brutal murder, is claiming that, well, he was possessed. So not his fault, right?
It was more like he was describing the feeling as being possessed.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like one of those, oh, I was possessed by the devil, I need to get off of this charge. It was more like, I can't tell you what happened, I just didn't even feel like myself anymore. So he felt like somebody else was pulling the string. Yeah,
right. And of course, Dana, naturally very skeptical about this, pretty much chalks it up to like the doctor's sleeping pill habit that she feels caused the psychotic break.
Right.
That's how she, of course, rationalizes it.
Yep.
Mulder, of course, is of a different opinion because, hey, it's Mulder.
Mm-hmm.
So he inspects the operation room, discovers a pentagram, which normally is associated an occult symbol of protection, as we are told in the episode, burned onto the floor. And naturally, hey, witchcraft might be a part of what happened here.
Right.
So, just maybe might be witches. We'll see. So, meanwhile, we got the staff at the Lloyd's Clinic are shocked when another surgeon, Dr. Alakwa, played by Paul Raskin, he ends up killing an elderly patient by burning a hole through her cheek with a neck with a surgical laser. Yeah, severing her brainstem. So
and once that's gone, it's over.
So right before, like the first show's first 15 minutes, where we have two gruesome deaths right there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the more gorier episodes of the X-Files that apparently Chris Carter had to like negotiate his way through network standards and practices just to get it aired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty gross, y'all.
Yeah, so points to him for like lobbying for the grosser stuff, but no. Let's see. So Mulder discovers the mark of the pentagram on his body as well, or her body, as well. And apparently we saw that a little bit earlier, that Nurse Waite had placed those little marks on her body using leeches.
That sounds antiquated to me.
Pretty much.
Like some sort of like spell?
Yeah, it's like, well, couldn't you just like get a magic marker and draw those on? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that whole thing.
Ooh, that's an impressive thing that you can do there.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. So, I'm glad something about me is impressive. So
a lot of things about you are impressive.
Scully interviews Alakwa, who claims he can't remember anything of the incident. Just like
again, feeling like something was possessing him to do it.
Right. So Mulder gets a little more suspicious, more sus, when he reviews the tape of the second murder, and hey, there's another pentagram-like pattern on the victim's stomach. So, add it up.
Possessions and pentagrams.
Yep, and then in immortal words of one Buffy Ann Summers, add it up, it all spells duh. That's one of my all-time favorite Buffy quotes. So, worried by the events, we have the hospital coordinator, Dr. Teresa Shannon. She ends up getting with Mulder and Scully, tells them about a similar series of deaths that occurred at the same hospital 10 years prior. And go ahead. And they suspect Rebecca Waite, who was a nurse, that was the only person present at all those deaths. So
suspicious.
Just a little bit. Hey, maybe you should go check the nurse out, right? So they go to Nurse Waite's house. So of course, and there's a great moment where they get to the door, and there's like a broom off to the side on the front porch, and Mulder makes this great joke about like, hey, it's probable cause, right? Which I thought was pretty funny. And then he notices that hey, there's a kind of a pentagram, a small little pentagram on the front top of the door. On the front, so they say, okay, well, that's more probable cause, I guess. So he kicks the door in.
Yeah, if you see a pentagram burned onto a victim, and then you see a pentagram at somebody's house that isn't on their copy of 2112. That should be probable cause.
Right. Or like some old Son of Satan comics from Marvel back in the 70s. Just saying. Something like that. But, by the way...
2112 is acceptable.
By the way, Hellstrom, pretty good, if you're curious about checking that out on Hulu. Right. So, pretty creepy. I kind of dug it. So, they go inside, and of course, it's all like pretty much like witch stereotypes at this point. You've got you've got candles, you've got incense, herbs, witchy objects of all persuasion. So you got books, witchcraft books lying around. And so apparently the audience finds out later, though, that that evidence was planted there by a staff member of the hospital.
I wonder who could that be?
Yeah, I wonder who could that be. And by the way, did I mention that we have Richard Beymer as the special guest star?
Who in this episode is an asshole?
Right, and is famous for playing assholes.
Yeah, who could that? I wonder who that could be.
So, speaking of a Dr. Jack Franklin, this is where he gets attacked at his house by Nurse Waite, again lying in wait with a knife in a tub full of blood in his bathroom because, hey, who doesn't have a tub full of blood in their bathroom?
Here's the thing about that, Charles.
Yes.
I don't think she brought that blood with her. That blood was there.
Right. One would hope. I mean, otherwise,
that blood was there.
Otherwise, why did she fill it up?
There's no way she could have just brought that in there. That blood was there, which means he is up to no damn good.
Right. And the only thing I can think of is, well, if I hide in the tub, he can't see me, so I'll just pop out.
Yeah, just do like a...
But I'm thinking, how would she know that he would come right to the tub? Again, that's what I was thinking. Is like, well, maybe she's the one who did fill it up because that would draw his attention to the tub, right?
She obviously knows. So, okay, kids, spoiler alert, it's Richard Beymer.
Yeah.
She obviously knows that he's the one doing all this stuff, which is why she's trying to protect all these patients.
Right.
So I think she knows that he's doing these blood spells or whatever crap he's doing.
Right.
So she's on to him. So I think that's why she goes there. Because that's another thing. If you've got a tub of blood in your house, that's probably a priority in your life.
Generally. Yeah, I guess so.
It's probably like where your only hobbies are is like, like think about like Madame Baltry. She always had baths of blood in her house, and that's what she did. Hi, you're a young lady. Would you like to come work for me? See ya. So, I think she just knew that's who he was. So that's why she knew he would have his satanic accoutrement.
But again, why didn't she just like hide in a nearby closet or something, as opposed to just like, I'm going to hide in the tub itself and spring out and attack him?
Well, to quote Anthony Michael Hall in Weird Science, it's ceremonial.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. That's all I got, Charles.
Weird Science. Ooh.
Hey, I am not a Mayhew sister, okay? I didn't write this.
No, right. I think we kind of understand why the Mayhew sisters weren't asked to write another episode.
There's nothing wrong with this episode. There's just nothing stellar about this episode, shall we say.
Yeah. Although I kind of love the creepiness of this one. So it does have a great vibe, I think. And so, of course, Waite ends up getting arrested. She gets approached by the agents, Agents Mulder and Scully, who they try to question her, but they get a little sidetracked because all of a sudden she starts to vomit. And not just vomit. She vomits straight pins.
Uh-huh. Yeah, straight pins.
Yeah, so because, as you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and as this happens,
yeah.
that kills her, so they don't get a heck of a lot of answers out of her.
Exactly. So, so kind of a went on that one. And Mulder recognizes this as a hex, apparently, because, hey, he just happened to, read all of, Nurse Waite's occult books in one night, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mulder knows things.
Yeah, he does.
That's what he does. He watches porn and he knows things.
He drinks? Well, yeah, exactly. He doesn't just drink and know things, yes.
That's what I do. I watch porn and I know things.
See, he was Tyrion Lannister before Tyrion Lannister in that regard.
Yep.
After the incident, of course, Mulder goes and talks to Dr. Jack, hoping to learn some more about Nurse Waite's motivation. And although Dr. Franklin is seemingly innocent, when Mulder leaves the room, he begins to levitate and devilishly smile in that Richard Beymer way. Mm-hmm. So I find him interesting because he sleeps above his covers. 4 feet
above his covers.
Yeah. You knew I had to go with that one, right?
You had to go with that one. And what's interesting about this episode, too, is that the cadence of his voice and his mannerisms, he's very Ben Horn.
Yeah.
He's like, I had this evil character once and it worked out really well. I'm going to just go with it.
Yeah, why not, right?
He's
playing the hits.
You know how we say that Scully's father and Major Briggs are possibly the same guy?
So you think Dr. Jack and Ben Horn are
I
the
think
same guy?
Benjamin Horn had a brother who he was separated, like a twin, that he was separated from at birth, and that twin went off to Illinois to become a plastic surgeon.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is there's another Horn brother out there somewhere. Well, at least there used to be until there used to be until this Cox guy, who we'll talk about here in a second, got a hold of him. So I'm wondering. Okay, apparently he can levitate. This guy. Mm-hmm. So it's not just he's not just a serial killer, as it turns out. He's actually got some actual magical powers.
He's
actual sorcery.
He's in this for the evil powers.
Pretty much.
Not for the money, for the evil powers.
For the chicks and the powers, that's it. First you get the power, then you get the chicks. No, wait. First you get the money.
First you get the blood.
First you get the money, then you get the powers.
Then you get the powers. And then you get the women.
Yes. That's it. One of those. So later that night, Mulder realizes that, hey, all these birthdays of all these victims, they kind of match up with the witch's Sabbath. And maybe it looks like Nurse Waite was actually trying to protect the victims from Dr. Jack.
How many people in Illinois are going for plastic surgery that you have enough people with those birthdays to choose from?
Well, what I want to know is, okay, you've had 2 grisly murders by this point. Mm-hmm. Why is your clinic still allowed to be open at this point?
Really, really good lawyers and PR people is my only possible explanation.
You would have thought that, if the FBI knows about it, probably the Board of Health probably knows about it.
I think maybe the Board of Health.
Yeah.
That is a
unless
quote.
They're also Satanists,
Yeah. That was a quote and a joke for only my friend Jason, who doesn't even listen to this podcast. So we're gonna just let it go.
Shame on him for not listening to the podcast.
He's got an infant, so he's allowed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're not exactly infant friendly here, are we?
No, I mean he's busy. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I understand that too, but it's audio. You can have it playing in the background. That's my point.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was for you, Jay.
All right. So hopefully you're listening.
Joke.
Yeah, or if you know Jay, tell him that tell him about this. So,
yeah.
All right. So let's see. Well, we find out that apparently Nurse Waite had placed the pentagrams on or around the victims in the hopes of protecting them from Dr. Jack's dark magic, of course. And this explains why Nurse Waite tried to kill Franklin, So everything suddenly shifts to paying attention to Dr. Franklin at this point.
Pretty much. Why is it when people want to kill somebody in TV shows, they don't just take like a rifle and shoot them in the head and then just drive off?
Because that would make too much sense. It doesn't fill up an hour of television.
I suppose. I mean, kudos to Carrie Fisher and the Blues Brothers. By
Yeah.
the way, happy birthday, Carrie Fisher. Her birthday was yesterday.
Exactly. Rest in peace, Carrie
Kudos
Fisher.
to Carrie Fisher and the Blues Brothers for just going up to where he lives, shooting a rocket launcher into his doorway, and then just driving away. Who would have thought they would have survived that? I don't know. But when she finds out that he does, she comes back the next day with a bomb, bombs the building, and for some reason, because they are on a mission from God, that's the reason they survive.
Yeah,
but
they're indestructible.
you would think that they would, this whole like sneaking around and spells and bathtubs of blood, just shoot him and land one in the head.
Yeah.
I have a gun in my room.
Right.
I can go get it, come back, bang, we'll shoot them together. It'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. So
Austin Powers, by the way, I am not that psychotic, I promise.
One would hope, yeah. But points for doing the Scott evil there. That was good.
Thank you very much.
If nothing else, hey, gasoline is cheap, and so are matches. So set the building on fire. Why not?
Got Paul Lamette.
Yeah, pretty much. Don't do that at home, kids. By the way. So
no, unless you are married to Paul Lamette and he's abusive, then go right ahead.
Yeah. All right. So Mulder also realizes that because Waite's not the murderer, murders are going to continue, right? Logically. Mm-hmm. So, as he suspected, surprise, another patient gets murdered, this time with acid melting her face at the hospital. Because a third doctor gets possessed, presumably.
The acid man?
Yeah, exactly. So, the tripping, that's one serious acid trip, let me tell you.
Well, no, have you ever seen Brazil, Charles?
I have, but it's been a long time.
The mothers in that movie,
like
Catherine Hellman and her friends, they are going to plastic surgeons, and one of them is going to this one doctor who has a controversial treatment that involves acid. And that's why she becomes a gelatinous mess at the end. That's who that is.
Yeah, with her face all stretched out and whatnot. Yeah.
No, that's the other one.
That's I thought that was Catherine Hellman because I saw her.
Catherine Hellman, she has a friend. Remember, she has a friend who is they keep trying to set Sam and the friend's daughter up.
I told you it's been a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm rusty, obviously.
Catherine Hellman has a friend whose name I can't think of right now. Shirley is the daughter's name, but
you have IMDb. Look it up. No.
She has Catherine Hellman's plastic surgeon is I just forgot his name, and you know who he is, but her friend's plastic surgeon is Jack Purvis.
Yeah.
And he has these controversial treatments that involve acid, and they don't go well. So Catherine Hellman calls him the acid man.
Got it.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the connection. All right, good. See, I learned something again today.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, because Ghostwood, we're informative.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. All right. So we get the agents Mulder and Scully meeting up again with Dr. Teresa Shannon. And she talks a little bit more about that murder spree that occurred 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Again, why is your clinic still open?
Again, because, now 3 murders, clinic is still open. What the hell?
This is what...
3 members of your staff are killing people.
This is what our culture has done to women, Charles.
Yes.
This is what our culture of Cosmo and fat shaming has done to women, that it doesn't matter.
Image obsessed culture, yes.
Yeah, that a bunch of people died at the plastic surgery clinic. I'm still going to go and get plastic surgery. That's what's happening here. It's a travesty, people. It's a travesty.
Now I want to watch the episode of Moonlighting, Plastic Fantastic Lovers.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a very good one. I highly recommend that one.
I mean, it's no Taming of the Shrew, but it's pretty good.
No, Taming of the Shrew is like Atomic Shakespeare is what the episode's called, but yeah.
Dude, I watched that in school.
I know, it's great, right? It's one of the best episodes. Oh, did I tell you that I actually got to, when I did Universal Studios tour out in Hollywood, I got to see that whole courtyard scene with the fountain.
Is awesome.
With the fountain. So I actually got to see that. I was right there. That was pretty good.
That is awesome.
Where they filmed that. All right. Going back to the X-Files. Sorry, I just got my short attention span brain just totally got derailed there. So according to Dr. Shannon, 5 people were killed at the clinic, 4 patients and a cosmetic doctor named Clifford Cox, who must be a supervillain because he has an alliterative name.
Alliterative name that starts with both names start with the same letter.
Exactly. A very comic book villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a comic book hero, who ostensibly died of a
Stan
drug
Lee went to
overdose.
the same well several times.
Yes. Peter Parker,
Pepper Potts,
Bruce Banner,
Sue Storm,
Reed Richards. So, yeah. Kind of a trend, yeah.
Yeah, he went to that well a few times. So, yeah.
Scott
and he's
Summers, yeah.
I forgot about Scott Summers.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one, the Dr. Cox is the only one that didn't have one of those Sabbath birthdays.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Well, and they say he died, but did he?
Yeah, so apparently, just so happens, hey, Dr. Shannon has a nice little computer program that probably runs on DOS back then. That, right?
You had to boot it up with a 3.5-inch disc.
No, one of those 5 1/4 discs.
Yeah, you booted it up, and then you waited 10 minutes for each photo to render and load.
Pretty much. So
this is what the internet was like, kids. I remember
90s internet. Yep.
I remember being so excited when the Evita trailer got released on the internet, and I had to download it in 2 parts.
Yeah.
And it took an hour and a half.
For me, it was like waiting for the X-Men trailer, the first X-Men movie back in 2000.
Oh, yeah.
That one took forever to download.
This was even before that. This was 97.
Yeah.
This was 96 or 97, and it was like, I was so excited, and it was 2 parts.
Yeah.
A download was 2 files, and I had to wait an hour and a half to do it.
Yeah. So feel bad for us. We had crappy internet back then.
No, just don't feel bad for us. Just be happy things are the way they are now.
That's true. Appreciate what you have is what you're saying.
Yeah. Appreciate what you have.
Yep. That's good advice. All right. So, going obviously on his gut in this one, Mulder deduces that, hey, Dr. Cox was one of the only one of the deceased 5, like you talked about. And so they used that program, that computer program, to determine what he would have looked like using heavy plastic surgery.
He looked a lot like Tony from the West Side Story movie.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. So the computer spits out, probably like dot matrix printer style.
It's like there's one picture of him with a carrot and another picture of him with a cigar.
Right.
It's like, wait a minute, this is the same guy. He's just more of an ass now.
Yeah. If you be like that meme where you have Spider-Mans pointing at each other, going, yes. Yeah. You. So, yeah, they basically pieced together that, hey, Dr. Franklin is actually Dr. Clifford Cox in disguise. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, in like permanent disguise because he's a plastic surgeon.
Yeah, so here's where it gets fun. So more fun, I guess. When Dr. Shannon discovers Cox alone in a blood-spattered operating room.
Mm-hmm.
So, newsflash, you want to get out of said blood-spattered operating room.
Yeah, you do. She's just like, yeah, what are you doing?
You just want to like tip the F out the door at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he uses his witchcraft to magically teleport surgical tools into her intestines.
A la Carrie.
Yeah, pretty much. And I kind of have a feeling of what that's like, but I have a little bit of a knowledge about what that's like.
Did they do that to you when you were awake?
No, but
okay. But you knew that it had happened. Right?
But I did have surgical tools in my intestines, so.
And you knew something had gone on when you woke up.
Yeah, because I kind of like jiggled around, and there was like a little rattle inside, and so.
They left a few blades in there, and they were just.
And I was like, wait a minute. No, just kidding. All right.
No.
I'm just teasing about that. All right.
No, you woke up and you were like, wait a minute, I can poop and I don't want to die. This is great.
It's fantastic, right?
This is fantastic.
I'm all for this. I love it.
This is why people have a magazine rack in their bathroom. This is amazing. I'm going to stay here all day.
Trust me, I've made a thing about my magazine rack in the bathroom. Yeah. We won't talk about that, though. No, I'm just kidding. Luckily, Dr. Shannon is rushed into surgery, and survives. So lucky her, she's one of the only person in this episode that actually survives.
She's one of the lucky ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't send telekinesis to do a man's job.
Yeah. Now, what do Mulder and Scully do at this point? Well, nothing, because Dr. Cox
Peace out.
Dr. Cox splits. He gets away. Mm-hmm. He gets away with it. Nothing.
And do we ever see Dr. Cox again in X-Files?
Well, we pick up. Actually, I should mention that we pick up in a little epilogue in the story where, in a very,
he's getting another job.
Well, before that though, Benjamin Horne, Richard Beymer, pulls his face off in a very cool moment.
He does. He pulls his face off, and not in a Mission Impossible kind of way, in like a really gross face-off kind of a way.
Yeah, pretty much. So, he gets the old X-Acto knife, starts cutting around the hairline, and does the big peel downwards, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, especially for network TV,
it's pretty.
So if you keep in mind, this is 90s network TV, and we're getting to see somebody's face peeled off of their body. So, points to X-Files for getting
Fox
that on
did that
there.
again. Fox did that again with Sideshow Bob, 15 years later.
This is true, but that was animated. So
it was animated, but yeah, still they're like, you know what, this worked once. Anyway,
you can get away with that more because all the itchy and scratchy cartoons they do.
Seriously, yeah, he peels off his face and then goes and gets another job somewhere.
Yeah, and he gets a nice another little really handsome guy appearance. So young. So basically, he trades up for a younger, handsomer face.
Right.
And then goes off and he calls himself now Dr. Hartman, and he goes off to Los Angeles. So hooray, he gets his happy ending. Well, nothing else happens. Forget it,
X-Files, it's Chinatown.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah,
and that's the episode.
This is one thing I'm going to say about the X-Files is that they have often some real sort of you haven't seen the last of me type endings from some shows, but we do. We have seen the last of you. And once the X-Files ended and I went back and rewatched some of these, there's something about that that's really unsatisfying to me.
Yeah. Well, this case especially, because you figure, well, he got away. We'll see him again at some future point, right? Nope.
Something, yeah. Or even a mention okay, do you remember in The Godfather 2 how they spend about a minute and a half on the fact that Michael has found Fabrizio and puts a hit on him?
Yeah.
Just something like that.
Yeah.
Just something. Just Mulder,
Just acknowledge it.
Yeah, well, our old friend Dr. Cox was found in the San Francisco Bay, so I guess that's over.
Yeah.
Just something,
Just takes care of that unsolved case.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's...
A little bit of continuity would have been nice.
You would think, because with somebody like Dr. Cox, you would think this would come up again.
Yeah, you're right, because he's still out there. Nobody stopped him, so...
Yeah.
Just wait for him to kill again.
Right, and you would think there's going to be another, massive amount of people dying in plastic surgery.
Right, clinics. Yeah.
Clinics.
Yeah.
But apparently that never happens again. Maybe he just thinks, I've had a good run. I'll just, just let myself die. I mean, wait, okay, whatever.
Well, just maybe I'll put on this old face and then go back to Twin Peaks. There you go.
That's what I'll do.
Problem solved.
You know what? I will buy a hotel, a department store, and a whorehouse, and I will just live the quiet life in the Pacific Northwest.
The American dream.
Yeah, I'll have sex with some teenagers.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
living the life.
It'll be a nice departure from all this doctor murder that I seem to be doing now.
Yeah. I'll catch up with my twin Benjamin Horne and his and my other brother Jerry.
My little brother Jerry.
Yeah, makes a nice.
And maybe I'll see that. Maybe I'll see that cousin that danced around for us.
So.
Yeah. I hear they have good pie there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So, we kind of invent our own little headcanon here at Ghostwood. But
we do. It's our own little 2 minute fan fiction.
Our own little world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is both wonderful and strange.
Wonderful and strange, yeah.
Yep. All right, so what's your rating for this one?
This one, for me, gets a 6 out of 10 bottles of medical acid.
Okay. That's pretty good.
And let me explain, and this is a really personal rating, I think.
All
Okay.
right. Go for it.
Richard Beymer is fantastic.
Yes, he is. He's great in this episode.
Yeah, he's great. O-Lan Jones is great. And I may have talked about this with you, Charles. I may not have. But growing up in the 1980s, as a child, I was a child throughout the entire 1980s. I left the 80s at the age of 14.
Yeah.
All right, let me start. I'll save that. Let me just start out by saying I sometimes feel like when you're writing a story about an antagonist, like an evil killer or evil antagonist, I feel like the devil is like the easy way out. It's an easy villain.
It's a cop-out, yeah.
Not a cop-out, it's just an easy, it's low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
It's like when your villain is Hitler.
Yeah.
It's low-hanging fruit. It's an easy villain that you know everybody can get behind. Your protagonists, nobody's going to like them. And if they do, they're not going to say it out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's not like a Jaime Lannister where he's horrible, but you kind of love him.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the devil's low-hanging fruit. So there's that. There's also the thing that we talked about a little bit earlier, where we got a lot of mail. The X-Files got a lot of mail from Wiccans.
Yeah.
Saying, what the hell's wrong with you? I do sort of feel like that sometimes on the X-Files. You know, we talked about this with our Michael Horse episode where...
Yeah, Shapes. Yeah.
They're at least trying to talk about different things, but I think they're either doing a real 101 entry-level version of it, or they're just making shit up to make it fit what they want to do. So when you have something that is existing like Satanism, like paganism, like Wiccanism...
Yeah.
Read a freaking book and actually write something that is actually a thing.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, things that are actual threats.
Do your homework.
Yeah, things that could be actual threats, where if you have a psychopath who becomes a Satanist and buys into the whole human sacrifice crap, you know, there's more to it, and this is another one of those stories where it feels like it's under the guise of something scary, and you can sort of make it up as you go along. The way we said with Shapes, it's under the guise of something mystical, and you can make stuff up because no white people know shit about shit when it comes to native North American tribal communities.
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay, so back to me being a child in the 1980s.
Okay.
I took the whole satanic panic bullshit extremely personally.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a child... I was who got censored. All of these things that were getting censored were directed at me. All of this Tipper Gore crap.
Yes.
All of this
with
whole...
the PMRC.
Don't even start me with the PMRC.
Yeah. Look it up, kids. It's disturbing and oddly relevant to today.
I almost did not vote for... Well, I couldn't have voted for Bill Clinton the first time, but I almost didn't want him to win because... I hated Tipper Gore so much.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much I hated Tipper Gore.
Right.
I hated George Bush Sr. more, so I was happy with what happened, but I was like, why did you pick Al Gore as a running mate? Al Gore, who, you know, has done great things for the environment, I wish he would have told her to, please don't spend your energy doing this. There are so many other things that are worse. If she had spent her time parenting her children and listening to their music and having conversations about it and telling them, okay, this is what this means. This is kind of gross. Don't play this at Billy's house because his parents don't like swears. They're probably going to not like people masturbating with magazines because it was Prince's darling Nikki that started this whole thing.
Right.
If she had spent her time parenting and talking to her kids rather than telling the rest of the world what they should do with their kids, she would have been a better example, in my opinion. So the whole satanic panic thing just always gets on my nerves. This whole idea of satanic human sacrifice, which is like not really a thing in the Church of Satan. You know, not that I'm pro Church of Satan or anything like that, but
Yeah.
that's not a thing. It was scaremongering, it was fear-mongering, and it was all stuff that wound up affecting me as a child, where people were telling me what music I could and could not listen to, what movies I could and could not watch. And it was things I liked. Things like Iron Maiden music, things like Twisted Sister music, things like Prince music, things like Nightmare on Elm Street movies, stuff, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That I was smart enough to know was fiction, and I was not going to emulate. But here I was being dictated to, like, no, this is all satanic, and your kids are going to be scarred. And it all bugs me. It all really, really affected me as a kid, and I felt very powerless to fight it.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it has to do with control, because
a lot of it has to do with control. Yeah. And the thing is, it's not that my parents were, super religious, conservative, censoring type of parents. It was just something that as a kid, I took very personally.
Yeah.
Because here is this movement to protect me from fiction that I should think is repugnant.
Yeah.
Like, Freddy is a fantastic villain because you love to hate him. He's an interesting villain. He's horrible. He's disgusting. He kills good people. But you keep coming back for more because he's an interesting character. Not because you think he should have killed Tina.
Yeah.
Rod, I don't know, but he shouldn't have killed Tina. Definitely not Glenn. Glenn did not deserve to die, for sure.
You're not helping your argument there, but yeah.
No, I know. Rod is not a nice boyfriend. He's not a nice guy. Glenn is a nice guy. Tina's a good girl. So, okay. But I felt very condescended to, that there is no way I could possibly know fact from fiction.
Yeah.
And like it was this magical thing that happens to you when you turn 18, that you automatically know fact from fiction. You don't need to be protected by stuff anymore. No, I was a kid and I remember thinking, I need to learn this stuff. I need to be eased into the world of like horror movies, or eased into the world where there are murderers,
Yeah.
So this whole like protect your kids, don't let them see anything bad, don't let anything in. Boom, you're 18. Here's a horrible world for you. Never sat well with me. So I think I take this a little bit personally, and because of that, devil stories like this, where it's like somebody is sacrificing people because Satan told them to, whatever, really leave me cold.
Well, I mean, again, imagine how the Wiccans felt, because
yeah,
here they are, they're trying to basically out there in the woods, doing more nature worshiping than anything else.
Yeah.
And, and here's the X-Files, depicting witchcraft is used for Satanism, and
or witchcraft
and
is
murder,
used, or that because what Richard Beymer is doing, I think he's more summoning the powers of a demon, do what he can do. But I can't even think of the nurse's character. What her character is doing is trying all of these kind of half-assed ways to stop him.
Yeah.
Rather than just stopping him.
Yeah.
So, and are these ways, are they actual Wiccan things? I don't know if they are, because Wiccan isn't about Satan. Like you said, it's about nature.
Yeah.
So like I said, it feels like I don't know, it felt like there wasn't a lot of research, and it brought up the subject.
It's sensationalized a lot.
Sensationalized is the perfect term.
Yes.
So.
Thank you.
So what about you, Charles? What were your thoughts and your rating?
Well, like you, I'm of two minds of this episode, because on the one hand, I really love Richard Beymer's performance. He's a really creepy bad guy.
He's fantastic. I mean, nothing I say about this, to take anything away from how fabulous Richard Beymer is, because he's fantastic.
Because once, the attention starts focusing on him as a villain, and he reveals to the audience, like, well, hey, I am behind this. I have supernatural power. And he's kind of like, he does the little looks and the glares, kind of like a certain Ray Wise did once we found out that he was Bob on Twin Peaks. Spoilers.
Right. Spoiler. Yeah. And I think we as an audience, you and I, Charles, when we first saw this episode, I think we kind of knew that it was going to be Richard Beymer from the beginning because, it's Ben Horne. Yeah, it's him.
Yeah, of course it is. So on one hand, I do appreciate that. But on the other hand, there's some serious logic flaws in this. We talked about some of that. And, again, we talked about the sensationalization of taking, Wicca and kind of perverting it into, like this glorified Satanism.
Yeah.
And that really distinguishing the two. The only, they kind of sort of did. They say, well, hey, Nurse Waite was helping. But
right.
Yeah, but they didn't really make a clear enough distinction between those two things, in my opinion.
Right.
They kind of blended together a little bit.
They really did. I think it was more.
So I'm going to give this
sensationalized for the story.
Yeah. And I love Kim Manner's direction with this. So, like I said, I'm just kind of torn. I'm going to give this one a 7. Vomited straight pins.
Ooh, good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was either that or bathtubs full of blood. But
yeah, I just like the medical grade acid.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so
and if this episode doesn't make you not want to have plastic surgery, I can't help you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It is a creepy episode, and it is very fitting for around Halloween to watch this episode.
Yeah, it's a very fitting for around Halloween. But you know what? Just stay fat, people, and just get old. It's not worth running into Dr. Cox. That's all I'm
exactly. Saying. People get old for a reason. There's no way around that. You could kind of delay it a little bit, but that's all you can do eventually.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because otherwise you end up looking like Cassandra on Doctor Who, where you're just stretched out flat on a kind of
you need to be
frame. You need like moisturized. Moisturize me. Yeah. So.
And that's the thing. And if you're with a husband who is your same age and thinks you're too old for him, your husband's a dick.
So I hope you appreciated how I worked in a Doctor Who reference there.
I always appreciate the Doctor Who, especially Cassandra, because Zoe Wanamaker, one of my personal heroes.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I love her vocal work. And even actually got to see her as herself in New Earth, the second episode with Lady Cassandra.
Nice. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's in that.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, from Harry Potter. So
I first saw Zoe Wanamaker in...
It's a great actress, though.
The first Prime Suspect, back in 1988.
Ooh, I never watched that.
Oh my God, the original Prime Suspect, with of course Helen Mirren, Zoe Wanamaker,
right there,
Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes makes a guest appearance, makes a little cameo appearance. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so good, and she's so good in it. Zoe is fabulous.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
I love her.
Yeah, no complaints there. So we do have a lot of Ghostwood mail, everybody. So
Ghostwood mail.
So probably for the last time, hopefully we'll get these people continuing to write to us.
I hope they keep listening and keep writing.
Hope you guys don't just bail on us because we're not talking X-Files episodes anymore. Hint, hint. So, but thankfully they did write in this week. So first, let's start, of course, with Holly Mack, the great Holly Mack.
Holly Mack, when are you coming back?
Nice.
She's never heard that before, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a little before her time, probably.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure there's relatives that would say that to her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
I've never walked in a room and somebody started singing Xanadu. That's never happened to me.
Yeah. But you like that because you like being called Xanadu.
I freaking love it. Yeah, exactly. Please bring it on.
By the way, were you aware that Xanadu is on HBO Max?
Are you aware that I have Xanadu on DVD? Do I even care?
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I should have guessed that. I'm sorry. that was pretty stupid of me, wasn't it? I will give you that. All right. So back to Holly's letter. Hey, Charles and Zan. Hey, Holly. This has been an enjoyable trip down memory lane with the X-Files episodes you chose. Well, thank you. Sad to see it end. So are we. Forgot this episode. I think the doctor at the beginning of the episode needs a vacation big time. You think?
You think so? Yeah, he's He's a little loopy. He's a little bit of a pill popper.
Dun, 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 liposuction. Dun, 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 liposuction. I forget where that's from, but I think it's a stand-up comedy bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe I'm not. It's not one I'm familiar with, so
Yeah.
I can't help you.
That's all right. I can't remember where it's from either, so never mind. Just pretend it didn't exist. There's something more than medical mix-ups going on here. I knew I was getting a bad vibe off the nurse when I first saw her, but she turns out to be good. So yeah. Okay, which blood bank or how many people were sacrificed for that amount of blood in the tub? Right?
Lots.
Yeah.
Lots of them. You heard me talking about Madame Baltry. It's something like that.
You just, crack open a keg down from the basement, pour it in there.
You just get orphaned girls to be your servants, and that's how you get all that blood. I'm telling you.
I wonder what happened to all those paper boys. Oh, never mind.
Oh, that's the thing, man. You don't sit. Those poor newsies, they didn't know what hit them.
Nope. Never saw it coming. I wouldn't be calling 911. I would be running away as fast as my 2 little feet would carry me. Mulder, to paraphrase Billy Crystal, you look marvelous.
I love Mulder in the mirror, like moving around his face. Like, what should I have done?
Well, he got the pencil because obviously his facial characteristic is his nose.
Right.
So he's kind of like, looking at his nose and trying to should I do something with this? And he's kind of pulling his face back a little bit in the mirror.
Which interesting bit of trivia about me, Charles.
Yeah.
I find big noses very sexy.
Really?
I do.
Interesting.
Yep. It's a weird little quirk that I have.
Good to know. You don't need any cosmic surgery, according to her. Dr. Franklin doing his own facelift. Yuck.
Gross.
But awesome. And he's free to cause more havoc. Yeah, because Mulder and Scully didn't catch him.
Nope,
didn't do a damn thing. It would have been interesting to have him return. I definitely agree about that.
Yep, that's what we said.
Decent episode. I'll wrap it up here. Holly, the lone gun woman from Wisconsin.
Thank you, Holly, for writing in, and thank you for seconding my...
Yeah.
Where the hell did this guy go if he's killing this many people?
Right.
Also, why did it take the FBI 10 years to notice his last little killing spree?
Yeah. What happened with that? Obviously somebody's sleeping on the job there. Mulder's too busy, putting up one of Belief posters in his office, I guess.
He's too busy with porn.
That's true.
He's got a lot of porn, Mulder. Yeah. He really does have a lot of porn.
It all goes back to porn, doesn't it? All right.
It's Mulder.
It is
nothing
Mulder.
but porn in that house. That's why he sleeps on a sofa.
Well, and that's how he dies, because autoerotic asphyxiation. We've talked about this.
Why are you telling me that? No reason.
No reason. Yeah. Second of our lovely emailers, of course, is DJ Nick writing in, our own smoking man. So, of course, he selects his cigarettes and lights up.
I don't approve of this, Nick. You know that.
Yeah, I've talked to him. Yeah,
Save your money, my friend.
Not good. Save your lungs, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, save that. Don't need those emphysema medical bills.
Yeah.
Dearest Carlo and Alessandra. So I was Carlito. Now I'm back to Carlo.
Oh, well, it's your nickname. You're familiar now.
Yeah. So I got to do this for Nick because he did this at the beginning of his email. I think I'm high. He actually typed out in all caps, "I think I'm high!" Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark!
Awesome.
So nice to know he appreciates our little catchphrase here.
Yes.
All right. I know we are here because of Richard Beymer and yet another fantastic performance from an incredible actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Xan will be looking forward to when we eventually get to West Side Story.
So excited.
On Gold Standard, as of course he's in it too.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. We talked
I
about
love
that.
West Side Story.
Not to mention a certain Dr. Jacoby.
Heck yeah, a certain Dr. Jacoby.
Yeah.
I mean, as difficult as it's going to be to watch Natalie Wood play somebody from Puerto Rico,
right?
It's still an amazing movie.
Yeah, well, just kind of keep in mind the time period and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, things weren't exactly PC back then.
We need to look at our history and say, see what we did? That was wrong. We need to not do that again.
Right. Yeah, just slap the warning label on it, move on, and watch it. So to put it, just put it in its proper context. I wonder whether, like Kit Pedler with the Cybermen on Doctor Who, this episode may have been an oblique criticism on plastic surgery. Well, maybe just a little bit.
Possibly, yeah. Or like we were saying, Nick, the concept that people are so desperate for the plastic surgery. They're like, oh, you had 5 murders 10 years ago? Okay, when can I schedule?
Yeah. In Revelations, I touched up on how cultism would become a big theme in the X-Files, and voila, here we are, getting witchcraft as well.
Does not disappoint.
No, it doesn't. Covers all the bases. A strong episode, and I believe one of the first ones where we did not shy away from showing entrails and gore, which would have become more prominent in later years.
Uh-huh.
Or in previous episodes, like I talked about with Home.
With Home, yeah, Home's pretty bad.
That's really bad. I give this 8 out of 10 botched surgeries, and will miss you guys talking about this wonderful show. By the way, Charles knows this, but I'm curious about Xan's thoughts about one of my favorite characters and actors, Robert Patrick, a.k.a. Agent John Doggett, being completely written out of the X-Files. When he was talking about the return, when it came back on Fox. I think it was more Robert Patrick didn't want to come back.
Because didn't they reference Annabeth Gish's character, but not his?
Yeah, she's in it. Yeah,
she's in it. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Reyes is in it, but yeah, not Doggett.
I thought that was you would at least
acknowledge.
You would at least think that there would have been some sort of like, oh yeah, he's Doggett. He's retired. He's still living in Miami or whatever.
Yeah,
just some sort of comment about.
He's in the old special agents home.
Something like that. Just some sort of comment about, oh, maybe he's with Philip Jeffries. Maybe that's why they can't talk about it.
There you go.
Yeah, he went. That's what happened. He went to the Blue Rose Task Force, and he was never heard from him. That is okay. There you go, Nick. There's our explanation.
That's it. Yeah, our explanation. He's hanging out with Judy, so we're not going to talk about Judy. We're not going to
talk about it.
We're not going to talk about Doggett. We're going to leave him out of it.
We're going to leave him out of it.
Yep.
No, I always think that's strange. Like, as you know, Charles, September for me was bad movie month, and one of the first bad movies I watched was Teen Wolf 2.
Yes.
And
what a brave soul you are watching that movie.
God, the movie's so bad. So they have Scott Howard's father.
Yeah.
They have Scott Howard's two best friends, and they never talk about where Scott is. It's just say that Scott is studying abroad or some reason why he's not there, but just say something.
Visiting relatives in wherever.
Oh, he went to another college. They had a better hardware store management program. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just some way of acknowledging somebody that's gone. Sheriff Harry Truman has cancer, which is why Frank Truman has to be the sheriff now. Just something.
Well, see, and that was one of the great things. Yeah, we talked about that when we talked Twin Peaks. Was they at least acknowledged Harry, even though Harry wasn't in the show.
Right, exactly. So most everybody got a nod in the return of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
But even if somebody doesn't want to be in a show, does it mean you never talk? I mean, what is this, the 1940s, and you had a child that was stillborn and you just never talk about it?
Yeah. That's a little harsh, but yeah.
No, that was a thing. That was a thing.
I know it was a thing, but it's still kind of harsh.
That was a thing, like in the 30s and 40s, is if you had a child who died, or if you had a child who had an ailment and they had to go to a group home or something like that, the psychologist actually told you to remove their photos from the house and not talk about them.
Yeah,
they thought that would be
like they didn't exist. Yeah.
Right. They thought that would be better for you psychologically.
Yeah.
So obviously outdated, incorrect advice. That's why I'm saying it.
All right. So Nick wraps it up. Big hugs and much love to you both. Stay healthy and well. Your smoking man, DJ Nick.
Much love to you, DJ Nick, and we're trying.
Nick, we definitely appreciate you writing in, obviously listening to our X-Files
You also stay healthy and stay well and stop smoking.
Yeah. I mean, I can't hold your hand, make you do it, but, we just hope.
We can prod you from afar.
We can yell at Sonia, go, hey, Sonia, why don't you get those
we can make passive-aggressive comments.
Yeah. In case you hadn't noticed, we're
really
good
at
that.
Passive aggressive. Really good at that, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's an only child thing, but yeah, we've got a little bit of flair for that.
Yeah, we're good at hinting around.
Yes, we are. Lastly, but certainly not leastly, we have Jesse Jackson writing in about Sanguinarium. Hi, Xan and Charles.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Jesse. Now, that is a bloody good episode, or at least a very bloody one.
It's an extremely bloody episode, yes.
But awesome in that regard. I'm very sad to know that this is our last rewatch of the X-Files episodes. See, everybody's sad that we're leaving the X-Files behind.
Everybody loves the X-Files, Charles.
I know. I know.
Except at least all of our nerd friends do, which is why we love them.
Exactly. It shows that they have great taste. Well,
Heck yeah.
Well, keep in mind, Jesse never watched the X-Files until we started doing these X-Files episodes. We got him hooked apparently on X-Files. So
and he's loving it, right? Am I wrong? No, he's loving it still.
I told him that's why he needs to go back and start from the pilot and go through all the episodes.
Seriously, man. Hulu.
Do it right. Yep. Reviewing these episodes has been a fun experience, and I'm so happy the podcast gave me a chance to watch these episodes and discuss them with you both via email. The Gmail.
And we are the Gmail. We are the Ghostwood email. The Gmail.
One of the things I enjoyed about this episode was the way all the doctors seemed to be hiding something. Yeah, these were like all shady doctors, right?
Yeah.
Especially their little board. And if you notice in the boardroom...
their board? I was like, is this the OCP board of directors? I mean, who is this?
Dick Jones! No.
You're fired!
What are you doing here? And if you notice, if you looked really closely, and I noticed this because, I got the Blu-ray, right? So it has, on their board table, there was a star-shaped pattern in the board table.
Wow, leave it to the art director and the set. For that. Nice.
It's very subtle, but it's there. Trust me.
Impressive.
Yeah, I thought I'd mention that.
Most impressive. Yeah.
I just happened to think about that. It was hard to tell who was the villain, quote unquote. Richard Beymer is a pretty well-known actor, especially when you look at his IMDb page. Mm-hmm. It's a listing of some of the most popular TV in the past 40 years.
Heck yeah, it is.
As I'm sure Charles mentioned in his trivia section. Well, I got some of it. I suspected him as the killer because of his high profile, but I know that in this series, the high-profile guest star is not always the villain.
Expect the unexpected with the X-Files, Jesse.
That's true. The truth is out there. I understand that we are moving to I Am Not an Animal, the Elephant Man. Should be a great discussion. For now, be safe and take care, Jesse. So thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Holly, for writing in. We always
thank you guys.
Appreciate. Obviously, we know Jesse and Nick and Holly from our other podcasts. So it was really great of them to come over here for this X-Files discussion. It was nice, and we get to hear their feedback and read that on the podcast. And
it's like when your friends from another school come and watch your games.
Exactly. So
it's really nice. It's really supportive.
Sharing the geekdom. That's all it's about.
That's what we do.
Exactly. So nice little community we have here.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
I really appreciate it. So if you want to be like Holly, Nick, and Jesse, and please do.
And you do. Trust me, they're awesome people.
So write to us. Like, hopefully they're going to keep writing to us, right? GhostwoodPodcast@gmail.com. GhostwoodPodcast@gmail.com. Or you can reach us on the Twitter machine @GhostwoodCast on Twitter. Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks Podcast on Facebook. And Xan, where can they reach you? Hear all of your fine work.
Well, speaking of Xanadu.
Yes.
I am on the Twitter and the Instagram as Udinax19.
Yep.
Which is, of course, Xanadu spelled backwards. On the Facebook is Xan Sprouse. And if you want to hear me and DJ Nick and Rachel Friend talk about Oscar-winning movies and eventually the Richard Beymer classic, West Side Story.
Yep.
You want to head on over to Gold Standard, the Oscars podcast, where we talk about Best Picture winners and if they deserved it or not and what we think about it, and then basic little classic Hollywood trivia. It's your own little homegrown TCM over here.
There you go.
At Gold Standard.
That's awesome. Yeah, everybody please support that podcast because obviously, not just because Xan's on it, because, hey, that's reason enough, right? But yeah, because of Nick and, of course, Rachel, and support everything that they do. As for me, of course, @Charles Skaggs on Twitter, @Charles Skaggs on Facebook, and @Charles Skaggs on the Instagram, and my blog of Geeky Things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Damn good coffee and hot, where I talk about all the stuff we talk about here on Ghostwood, including, the Fandom Zone podcast, where right now DJ Nick and I just started reviewing The Boys Season 2.
Mm.
So Jesse kind of filling in for Jesse, who has kind of burned himself
Nick
out.
Nick filling in for Jesse.
Yep, Nick filling in for Jesse.
You just said Jesse filling in for Jesse.
Oh, did I? Well, see.
Like you have some sort of never-ending supply of Jessies, Charles. Come on.
Jesse's crawling out of the woodwork. He surrounds me. He haunts my dreams.
Like you have like a Jesse Cyberman. supply in your basement or something.
Cyber Jessies.
Cyber Jessies all over the place.
Attack of the Cyber Jessies. All right.
Oh my God, I would watch that episode.
Totally, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
They'd be, instead of like, delete or whatever, they'd be talking Bruce.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I'm sure they would. All right. So Nick filling in for Jesse on the Phantom Zone podcast, where, like I said, we're talking The Boys Season 2. Having a lot of fun with that. We've recorded our first episode together, and we'll be doing that for the next 7 weeks. So I hope everybody checks that out. Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast that I do with, Jesse, and assorted special guest companions, including a certain Xan Sprouse, who should be joining us in a couple weeks from now.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
That's
all right.
That's what we're doing. Check your calendar.
Time and space are a mystery to me, Frylock.
I just want to see who...
I just want to be the one that decides who lives and who dies.
That's what I was going with, yes. Yes, obviously I'm running a little late and I'm getting a little tongue-tied. So,
you know you want me, baby.
So, in addition, of course, Titan Talk, the Titans podcast, which is kind of on hiatus as well, where, Nick and I have been talking, we talked Doom Patrol, and then Jesse, we talked Titans, so we're kind of waiting around for new episodes to finally show up on HBO Max. So, fingers crossed, until then. But you can check out our other stuff in the meantime. And next time on Ghostwood, like we talked about, Ghostwood episode 87, as we talk The Elephant Man. So getting back to the David Lynch.
Elephant Man.
Yeah, so here's the question now I have for you. Are we going to do like we did?
Let's do the movie first.
Do the movie first, and then we'll do a separate Criterion episode.
Yes, we'll do a separate.
For all the special features and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that worked pretty well last time when we did Mulholland Drive.
I think so, too.
That's all right. So that's what we'll be doing.
The Skype seems glitchy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just said that whenever you say Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, I thought you were doing the theme music, but yeah.
It gets stuck in my head for 3 days.
Da, 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 da. You have a much better voice for that.
Yeah, that's.
You do that
I should
so
just
well.
do that the whole time you're trying to close out the podcast.
Yeah, see that would have been the great music to put behind everything. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. All right, Ghostwood 87, we're doing the movie. Ghostwood 88, we'll be doing the Criterion special features. So
Heck yeah, we are.
it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, the great search.
Well, it's going to be as much fun as the Elephant Man can possibly be.
That's true, yeah. But we're going to have fun talking about it, right?
We're going to have fun talking about it, but you are going to cry your ass off when you watch this movie. People.
It is kind of a downer, Debbie Downer of a movie, but...
It is a little bit of a downer, but it's got some really, really, really good people in it.
Yeah. For first and foremost, of course, Sir John Hurt, better known, of course, to Doctor Who fans as the War Doctor.
Yeah, and then Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, so you've got the War Doctor, you've got Dr. Lecter, you've got, who else is in this movie?
Well, he's not a doctor, Thufir Hawat.
Yeah, he's in it from Dune. In the meantime, thank you guys for listening. Thanks to everybody who wrote in. Hope you keep writing in. And come on back for episode 87 of Ghostwood as we discuss, at long last, The Elephant Man. It's going to be a lot of fun, at least for Xan and me. Maybe not for you after you watch the movie. It's kind of a little bit of a downer.
Come cry with us.
Come cry with us.
The Elephant Man.
We'll make you feel better and cheer you up afterward.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be all worth it. So we'll see you next time right here at Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. Goodbye, everybody. We made this.